Um, um, oh yeah. Yeah, I'll read you a bunch of quotes. Then, gentlemen, I'm at about 28 in the Stephanus numbers of the Apology, page 434 in the Rouse. Then, gentlemen, I should have been acting strangely if at Potidaea and Amphipolis and Delion I stayed where I was posted by the captains whom you had chosen to command me, like anyone else, and risk death. But where God posted me, as I thought and believed, with the duty to be a philosopher and test myself and others, there I should fear either death or anything else and desert my post. No. So he says, if you were to release me and say, okay, no, don't be a philosopher anymore. Many thanks indeed for your kindness, gentlemen, but I will obey the God rather than you. And as long as I have breath in me and remain able to do it, I will never cease being a philosopher and exhorting you and showing what is in me to any one of you that I may meet, by speaking to him in my usual way. And I'm going to confront each person, he says, to take care and thought for understanding, for truth, and for the soul, so that it may be perfect. For this is what God commands me. Make no mistake. And I think there is no greater good for you in the city in any way than my service to God. The goal is to make the soul as pure, as perfect as possible. So if you're going to put me to death, he says, that's not going to hurt me. Now, therefore, gentlemen, so far from pleading for my own sake, as one might expect, I plead for your sakes, that you may not offend about God's gift by condemning me. For if you put me to death, you'll not easily find such another. Really, it's something, I'm really something stuck to the state by the God. Though it's rather laughable to say so, and this is where he likens himself to a horsefly, stingray. He said, you know why? He said, because such another will not easily be found by you, gentlemen, unless God sends you another in his care for you. Then I am really one given to you by God, you can easily see. Perhaps it may seem odd that although I go about and give all this advice privately, quite a busybody. One of the charges is that he's a busybody. I'm quite like a busybody. Yet I dare not appear before your public assembly and advise the state. The reason for this is what you've often heard me give in many places, that something divine and spiritual comes to me, which Miletus, but he put it in the indictment. He put that in the indictment. He's telling them, hey, you see the indictment? I'm guilty. He put it in the indictment. Yeah, that's right, something spiritual and divine comes to me. He said, hey, don't be annoyed at my telling the truth. The fact is that no man in the world will ever come off safe who honestly opposes either you or any other multitude and tries to hinder the many unjust and illegal things and doings in a state. So, Now now let's see how much he brings together and see how many people might fit into this as he gives now his final statement about his own life. I'm on 439. But why ever do some people enjoy spending a great deal of time with me? One of the charges that he corrupts the youth. He says, yeah, a lot of people come around me and they copy what I do. Yeah, it's corrupting. Yeah, that's right. That's right. You have heard why, gentlemen. I have told you the whole truth. They enjoy hearing men cross-examined who think they're wise and are not. Indeed, it's not unpleasant. That is to say, they get a lot of fun out of it. Now he shifts and he says, and I maintain that I have been commanded by the God to do this through oracles and dreams and in every way in which some divine influence or other has ever commanded a man to do anything. That's pretty bold, right? I have been commanded by the God to do this through oracles, through dreams, and in every way in which some divine influence or other has ever commanded a man to do anything. So he's been rather busy. One of the gods have been busy with him. And the final thing is, you see, does he believe in a way in which the state does not believe? Look at that charge, see? That Socrates does not believe in the gods the state believes in. Could it possibly be that we might be able to see that very charge in the last sentence before they go to vote on his guilt or innocence? And in the affidavit, you know, there's the charge, and at the bottom is the sentence. So he knows, well, he knows it's death. So here's the last sentence. But I am far from, well, I'll read the two sentences. For clearly, if I should persuade you and compel you by entreaties when you are on oath, I should be teaching you not to believe in gods. And in my own defense, I should actually accuse myself of not believing in gods. But I'm far from that, gentlemen. I do believe, in a sense in which none of my accusers does. That's right. He believes in a way in which none of his accusers does. That's right, that's the charge. And I trust you and God himself to decide about me and the way in which shall be best both for me and for you. That's his last words. Not forsaken. Right, good. And so they vote. And they vote, of course, and the vote is tallied, and he's guilty. Now, in Athenian law, you have to vote twice. You have to vote to see whether or not the person is guilty or not guilty. And then you have a remarkable thing that occurs in Athenian justice. Now the guilty party can reflect on all that has happened, and they are now required to give an alternative sentence.